And we're getting some breaking news right now from Iranian news sources that there have been several explosions heard in Tehran, Tabriz and Isfahan. And we will, of course, bring you all the latest updates as we get them. Let's see if we can bring in Mohammed Val, who's joining us live from Tehran right now. Mohammed, what are you hearing about these explosions there in Tehran and other places in Iran?
Yeah, we have just heard those explosions here. My colleagues in the studio have confirmed that in Tehran, but also, as you mentioned in your intro, in Isfahan and Tabriz, according to local media, including the Iranian national TV. So this is confirmed on the Iranian side now. Several explosions in Tehran, Tabriz and Isfahan just a while ago. And that means that Israel has begun its response on the Iranian attacks overnight, and that's something that Iranians have warned against, saying that if it happens, then they will continue their strikes against Israel. The first strikes on Israel, 10 missiles were launched on northern Israel, ballistic missiles, as mentioned by the Iranians here. But now we don't know whether drones will be involved, whether more missiles, heavier missiles, will be involved in the next wave if Iran executes what it has threatened to do, a new retaliation, a new escalation between the two countries. And Lebanon is at the center of this. Iran has launched those strikes overnight in response to what it said to be a continuation of Israeli aggression on Lebanon, and particularly on the southern Dahia of Beirut. The understanding was that the Americans were pushing, particularly Donald Trump, in a phone call with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, has tried to prevent the Israelis from actually responding to these strikes by Iran. But now it is clear that that's not the case. Israelis are not complying to those requests from the Americans, and they are escalating again against Iran. So we don't know what is going to happen next, but the expectation is that this escalation is not going to end just in the next few hours.
Mohammed, just to be very sure here about what we actually know, the sound of explosions in these places, but do we in fact know that these were strikes by the Israelis?
We don't know, but I think there is something that I have seen just a while ago here, that the Israelis themselves are talking about it. That's something that our colleagues in Israel can confirm. The Iranians have not yet confirmed that this is coming from Israel, but that's the expectation. And just as I say, the IDF, this is coming from our colleagues in Israel, confirms a short while ago the Israeli Air Force, under the direction of the Military Intelligence Directorate, carried out strikes on military targets belonging to the Iranian regime in western and central Iran. So that came from Israel itself, even before the Iranians confirmed it, even though the likelihood and the likelihood is that the Iranians understand that this came from Israel.
Mohammed, talk to us about the significance of these three locations. Tehran, of course, the capital, but also Tabriz and Isfahan. We know Isfahan was also attacked last summer in the 12-day war. But why these locations, do you think?
Well, Tehran is at the center of this because it's the capital and it has so many strategic locations, strategic facilities around it, particularly to the west of Tehran. That's where a lot of military barracks, military facilities and industries are centered. And also Isfahan. Remember that during the war, the 40 days war, Isfahan and Tehran were bombarded almost every single day. Isfahan in particular hosts some nuclear sites and lots of military industries, and it has seen that attempt by the American army to, according to the Iranian reports at that time, to go and reach one of the sites where the Americans think that the nuclear material is hidden. So it's a very important, very strategic location, Isfahan. Lots of industries concentrated there, and also in Tehran and around it. And these are the two historic capital of Iran. Actually, before Tehran was the capital, Isfahan was the capital of this country. It's one of the largest areas of concentrated industries and economic interests and so on. And now Iran also. Tehran is the latest capital. It is the current capital. These are locations very strategic and symbolically also very important. So that's a message from Israel that even though Iran attacked only northern Israel and did not inflict damage, according to Israeli reports, now we don't know what is the impact of these new strikes by Israel, and apparently Israel has not refrained from attacking the most strategic cities in Iran.
So Israel saying that they're striking military targets in western and central Iran. Let me ask you about the statement that we got from the IRGC earlier tonight, saying that in fact these aggressions are repeated, talking about Israeli strikes, Israeli aggressions. The responses will be broader and will encompass all American Zionist targets in the region. What kind of response should we expect now from the Iranian side, given the fact that Israel has now, in fact, retaliated?
Well, the pattern is that when the attacks come from Israel, usually Iran concentrates its retaliation on Israel, but across the country, not just to the north, but also they attack other locations in Haifa, near Tel Aviv and other areas. So the understanding is that the retaliation will be centered and in Israel, not across the region. But when the attack comes from the Americans, usually the Iranians respond in a much wider way to include countries in the region, because they consider that those attacks come from bases in those countries. So this time around, this is only between Iran and Israel. That's what we expect here, not between Iran and the Americans, unless the Americans join the Israelis in these attacks today. So there is no, at the moment, until now, there is no fear that Iran is going, for instance, to strike against Kuwait or Bahrain or any of those countries, or even at the American military facilities in the region. So this is going to be Israel-Iran at the moment.
Mohammed, would Iran consider this attack by Israel just to sort of be a measured response, just like Iran's attack on Israel is seen by many experts as sort of a measured attack, sending about 10 missiles, but not actually striking anything? Could Iran leave it at this? That's what I'm asking. Could it just be sort of said, okay, Iran attacked, Israel responded, let's leave it at that, let's go back to the negotiating table?
Well, I think it will depend on the impact of these Israeli retaliatory strikes this morning. If it is a painful blow to some of the Iranian facilities, if there are assassinations included, there is no likelihood that Iran is going to stop there and not respond. But if it is cosmetic, which is something that Israel is not doesn't usually do. Iran does it sometimes, but Israel usually doesn't wage cosmetic strikes. Usually Israel, when it strikes painfully and at very strategic targets in Iran, either killing high-ranking personalities or attacking facilities that are very key to the Iranian military and civilian capabilities. So it will all depend on where did Israel attack this morning.
That is Al Jazeera's Mohammed Valam reporting live from Tehran for us. Thank you, Mohammed. And let's just bring you up to speed on the latest developments here. We're getting reports of explosions heard in Tehran.